Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host. Welcome, everyone, to Azeroth United. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Denethar, and this is episode 27. I had to take a break from all of my scallywagging and pirating to jump on the hot microphone here for you. But no, seriously, we've got a lot to talk about. Definitely a lot of 10.2.6 and some Plunderstorm conversations. We'll get into all that, as well as some of the changes coming for Season 4. Some discussion about Season Discovery, and we're going to talk about some hero talents. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or have a particular topic that you'd like to hear discussed, please email me at denethar1@gmail.com, or you can leave a voice message by going to speakpipe.com/AzerothUnited. Also, if you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I mean, I guess you could do a 4-star, but a 5-star would be better. I'd like that more. It does help out the distribution. That's the podcast game that you have to play. Any platform really, whatever you're listening on. If it's Spotify, if it's Castbox, or not Google Podcasts, because that's going away. So which really bums me out. I really liked Google Podcasts. It was a good app. But anyway, that's beside the point. That's a little podcast detail for y'all. So yeah. If you would like to do that, that would be great. If not, it's okay. I don't mind. But I really am trying to improve and impress and really make things cool. So if you like the podcast, let me know. Before I get to the news, I would like to do a quick rundown of what I got up to last week in World of Warcraft. I did a little bit of M+ on the Monk. That was really the key for me. Was I got the Monk to 2000 rating. So I got the KSM, which is cool. I mean, I already have that on my Demon Hunter, but it's a nice little milestone, especially coming at the end of Season 3 or towards the end of Season 3. It's nice to be able to look at it and go, hey, I did this. I did a thing. I don't know if he's going to retire now, if I'm just going to take it easy and just play Pirates for the next few weeks. But certainly, this is kind of a big thing. I mean, I've never gotten any characters with 2 KSM, and now I have 3, which is really nice. I was going to try for a Keystone Hero on my Warrior, but it's so hard to get into a group as a Fury Warrior, unless you're in a guild or a pre-made group of people, and since I have no friends, this is I'm kind of stuck in this weird mode. So anyway, that's enough of that. I did do a little bit of leveling in Season of Discovery. I got to level 36 on my Paladin, which is really cool. I'm gonna probably try and get to 40 this week, although I don't know, this pirate thing is kind of tickling my ear a little bit. So I'll get into it, but yeah. It's a battle royale. It's Fortnite. So, all right. That's pretty much it. I didn't really do a whole lot of WoW this week. I did do a lot of stuff in IRL that kind of took me away from playing WoW. So, I didn't get on as much as I had maybe wanted to, but that's okay. WoW is not my whole life, and we do have other things going on. So, that's all right to have some down weeks, and especially now towards the end of the expansion, it's like, it's not super compelling to get on there. I got the Monk to 2000. Really, that was my goal. So, all right. Well, we have lots to talk about. Definitely a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into it.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, apparently, pirates. We were all right in that we thought it was going to be pirates, but nobody. I mean, I looked through a lot of posts and a lot of videos, and nobody predicted that it was going to be Fortnite in WoW. that was not on anyone's bingo card. So patch 10.2.6, Plunderstorm is now on live servers. This is a new game mode in World of Warcraft that is played through the Dragonflight client. You will have a character that you can customize to any race that you want in WoW, except for Drakthir. You can't pick a Drakthir for some reason. That's a little odd, but it's okay. We don't need the scalies in there anyway. Come on. It is available to all classic and modern WoW players. So if you are a classic player, you're playing Wrath of the Lich King Classic, waiting for Cataclysm, and there's nothing to do, you can go ahead and download the Dragonflight client, jump on to Dragonflight. You don't have to log into Dragonflight because I know you hate it, but you can switch to Plunderstorm and you will customize your character and you can jump right into, because it doesn't require you to level up. It's a completely separate game mode. You will zone into a kind of lobby area, and you have a quest that you need to complete, talking to people and using your spells and different things. But basically, it's a 60-player battle royale set in the Arathi Highlands. Your goal is to get as much plunder or loot as possible, which is essentially gold, and that's how you earn rep with the new faction. The new faction has 40 levels of renown. The renown is hard to get unless you are really a good player, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not a really good player, so I was struggling to get some renown in there. I'm still level 1. So yeah, this is very interesting. There's some really cool transmogs that you can get. Some really cool. There's a mount. Some other really cool things. So we don't know everything that's in here. I know Wowhead is very fervently data mining everything right now. But as it stands, this is a completely optional game mode. You don't have to do it. There's nothing compelling you to do it. You can get a mount and a pet in Wrath Classic, which will obviously carry over to Cataclysm Classic. And then there's some transmog options for Dragonflight characters. So there's some really cool stuff in there, and it seems like it's a lot of fun. I haven't really exactly had a lot of fun playing it myself because I'm terrible at these types of games. There's a reason I don't PvP. There's a reason that I only do the brawls. I'm bad at PvP. So I try to stick to the outskirts. I'm trying to kill the beasts and different things, but that's hard. And as soon as a player shows up, I'm screwed. So that's where we are. So if this is your thing, if you like a battle royale, if you're like, wow, that's great that WoW has Fortnite in 2024. This is for you. This is the game mode for you. If you're just like, look, I don't care about the game mode. I just want the pirate transmog and the different things, then go do it. Blizzard said that you should, if you're really doing well, you should be able to get a renown every 4 matches. I've done 3 matches and I'm barely scratched the surface. So I don't know what metric they're using, but I'm guarantee we're going to get an adjustment on the renown acquisition for this. So mark my words, it's going to happen. We'll be able to get more renown, because nobody wants to grind up to 40 renown with the way that this is set up. This is going to be a long grind, and really fun. And since it's a limited time event, it's going to really make it difficult for players who are struggling to get their renown up. So anyway, but like I said, this is a really cool thing, and but this is the entirety of the Secret Pirate Patch. It's Fortnite in WoW with pirates. Now, Blizzard is kind of hinting that they will want to use this game mode with different theming and different situations in the future. And I could see this being something that they use for holiday events, special occasions like the anniversary events. Maybe you want to jump on for the WoW's 20th anniversary. Oh, it's a separate game mode. You jump onto the battle royale, you get in there, and instead of fighting each other, you're fighting the bosses will spawn, and you got to go in there and fight the bosses, or maybe I don't know. There's lots of things you could do with it. The world is your oyster, as they say. So it's pretty cool, and I'm glad that this is something that they worked on, and it's here and it's available. I could totally see this being something that would be fun on a console type setup. So like if you have a controller, this would be a really cool thing to play with a controller. So yeah, that's Plunderstorm in World of Warcraft. There's going to be a lot more discussion about this, no doubt, as the weeks continue, or as the days continue. I'm sure we're going to see some changes. Obviously, it's just been out for a few hours, so there we go. In other news, there is other news. So there was There was a tweet by Josh Greenfield, who is known as Agrand on in the WoW sphere. He is the senior developer for Season of Discovery. And what he said was, it was a very benign tweet. He's talking about getting his third character level 40 and going and doing stuff. And somebody complained like, oh, it's so hard to find a group because people only want the meta comp and blah, 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 blah. The same complaint that we've heard constantly. And he actually gave a really in-depth response. And it kind of surprised me how kind of cutting he was in his response, how he just kind of hit straight for it. It wasn't we try to cater to every play style and all players are special and you're all snowflakes. And no, he just kind of hit straight forward. I will read portions of this, but basically what it boils down to is he said, look, you're going to be better off if you join a guild. And that's just the bottom line. Join a guild, get into a group. It doesn't even have to be a guild that you have, it's all your friends. Get into a guild and play with other people. That's how the WoW is designed. It's not designed for you to pug. That's not what they're designing for. They are designing for being in a guild. Now, I know I've had this problem and I've complained about it relentlessly on this podcast about my Fury Warrior not being able to get into groups. Well, she was not in a guild. And so it was really difficult. Now, I did join a guild, and that was really cool, but I haven't really, it's kind of a quiet guild right now, and they're not really doing a whole lot because Season 3's wound down. I'm hoping that with Season 4, I can get in some raids and really kind of get to know people, but yeah, I felt like I had to join a guild. I felt like there was no choice. If I wanted to do anything on this character, I had to join a guild. So, that being said, what Josh said is, or what Agrand said is, this is likely not what you want to hear, but the best way to play WoW is with a guild. Full stop. Social structures are the main character of any MMO and will be more meaningfully impactful to your play experience than anything a game designer can cook up. In other words, we're not going to come up with a solution. We've already put one in. It's called Join a Guild. I think there's more we could do to help with this, to be clear, but there will never be a moment where there aren't jerks on the internet being jerks for no reason. Being someone who has run a guild or spent the majority of my time with a guild for years, dealing with jerks and pugs is just not an experience that I feel anyone needs to deal with. There are always guilds recruiting, especially now with the raid sizes changing next patch. Wow, he just hit it square. And he's right. The issue is that you have to join a guild. There's just no way around it. Sorry, but you got to join a guild. He says, anyway, this doesn't help you with your immediate frustration, but that is my honest advice. And even if all classes were perfectly balanced, and he says they never will be, there will always be a first and a last, folks. Will gatekeep even if the difference is 0.1%. And he's right. That's absolutely true. It would still be something that happens occasionally. I'm sure some will read this and clap back with, Lazy Dev says it's your problem and you should join a guild, lol. And that's one very reductive take. But really, this is my honest suggestion as someone who has built my personal and professional life around WoW for my entire adulthood. Social structures like guilds are the non-secret secret sauce of an MMO. I'll wind down my long post by saying that this is definitely possible to have fun in a pug. If you are having issues like this, chances are good others do as well. I know many people and regularly run with groups like this that just take all comers and only really pausing to make sure they have the right spread of DPS, tanks, and heals. Sure, the runs might require a bit of coordination and may take a little bit longer, but I always have fun when I run with them, so long as everyone has a tiny bit of patience. Just a few weeks ago, I joined a pug, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and he goes into some experience. So yeah, basically, don't pug, join a guild. And that's the secret. And he's right. He's absolutely right. And if you are somebody who's maybe you have a guild with all your alts and that's it, you're the only person in the guild, you're going to have a hard time. And that's not to say that you can't pug and that you can't have fun pugging, but it's always going to be harder to pug and more frustrating to pug than it is to be in a guild. That's just the truth. And there's no way around it. You cannot make the devs come up with a resolution to this. There will always be a best and there will always be a worst. You'll always have, people are calling for incorporeal and afflicted to be removed because, oh my gosh, it makes it so hard for non-dispelling classes or non-CC classes to get into groups these weeks. Yeah, you know what? You can get into groups if you're in a guild. if you're in a community, if you're with a group of people that you're friendly with, and they're taking people and you're all having a good time, yeah, you can do that. But if you're just trying to get into a group, I guarantee you, if you're 482 and your Radar IO is 2200, there's a 484 with 2700 guaranteed, and they will get the spot, not you. So, in Season of Discovery, it's even harder because it's just people look at who's the best class, and it's like, well, it's this one. All right, that's what we want. And of course, WoW is not that simple. It's not that easy, and you could be the meta class and still be terrible. You could be the bottom class and be amazing. But the reality is that people will gatekeep for no reason other than that's what they saw on the internet, and that's just how it goes. So, unfortunately, yeah, the answer is join a guild, and then that's what I had to do. I had to join a guild. And so there you go. I wanted to highlight this because I feel, and he says a lot more, but really the point is join a guild. And everybody who's complaining about going into Season of Discovery Phase 3, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. If everybody who's pugging right now and not doing GDKPs because they removed them, and you're complaining about not being able to get raids, join a guild now, because the raid size is going to go up to 20, and then it's going to go up to 20 and 40. And they're going to have both. So you're going to need to be in a guild to be able to do that. I guarantee you're going to have a better experience in a guild. Now, you might get into a crappy guild, and that's okay. You can always change, but it's better to have a crappy guild than no guild. So anyway, that's just my little spin on that. But I did appreciate the post from Josh, and I think that Season of Discovery is clicking on really well. Obviously, Phase 2 has hit a few more speed bumps than Phase 1 did, but it's still a lot of fun. It's still vanilla WoW, which is fun, and I'm having a good time in it. So, and I did join a guild in Season of Discovery. It's a good guild. They're not competing for server first or anything, but it's a good group of fun. It's a dad guild, so it's a good group of fun people, and I enjoy it. So, all right. Let's boy, there's still so much patch 10.2.6 and season 4 that I want to talk about, but let's get into what's going on this week in World of Warcraft.
Let's talk about World of Warcraft.
In Dragonflight, this is Season 3, Week 19, and we're getting close to the end here, folks. So what Blizzard said is we're going to have several weeks of Season 3 in patch 10.2.6, and then we'll transition to Season 4. So I'm guessing that's about 4 or 5 weeks, and so probably somewhere near the end of April, which kind of lines up with, and then about a month after that, we'll get patch 10.2.7, and then another 2 months after that, and we'll get a pre-patch for the War Within. I'm assuming that we're going to get a alpha War Within announcement for next week, but yeah, that remains to be seen. Anyway, Dragonflight Season 3, Week 19, the Mythic Plus affixes for the week are Fortified, Storming, and Bursting. Fortified, obviously, is non-boss enemies have more health and deal 30% more damage. You know it, you love it, you hate to see it. Storming, tornadoes spawn around enemy creatures while in combat. I hate storming. It's so frustrating, especially as a healer. You're constantly running for your life. And bursting, non-boss enemies explode on death, causing all players to suffer flat damage that scales with keystone level. This effect stacks. Now, as a healer, bursting and storming is miserable. I don't know why they have this combo together. Honestly, just get rid of bursting. It's just get rid of bursting, bolstering, and I like Entangling. I like Volcanic. I even like Sanguine, as annoying as it is. Move your feet. Having deadly boss mods constantly yell at you, it's a good affix because it makes sense. If you leave the mobs where they are, they'll heal and you'll take damage, so you got to move. Okay, cool. It's something you have to deal with, but it's not this super complicated afflicted. You gotta dispel the mob and blah blah. So anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a rough week. Trash is gonna stink in this week. The bosses should die pretty quickly. The only thing you'll have to worry about is the tornadoes that spawn. So that'll be fun. But the trash is gonna be rough. So good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor. In addition, the weekly event is the Battleground bonus event. Sign of Battle buff will give you increased honor from Battleground objectives and wins by 50%. Boring. A call to battle from Khazra and Valdrakken. Win 4 Battleground matches for Marks of Honor and Conquest. Boring. Yeah, this sucks. This just sucks. Okay, the Battleground bonus event is like the bonus event where you go, oh, okay, well, so there's nothing to do, huh? Okay. I feel like if you want to spice it up and you want to jazz it up and give it something interesting, great, that's awesome. But as it currently stands, no, this is terrible. Blizzard, stop putting the Battleground bonus event out there. Rated Battlegrounds and arenas, yes. Just regular Battlegrounds, no. Nobody wants to do that. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to rail on that. The PvP brawl for this week is Shadowpan Showdown. Step into the Tiger's Peak Arena and get ready for the Shadowpan Showdown. You'll race for control of a center control point. I almost said center console. This isn't your daddy's Audi. Control of a center control. Oh boy, I almost did it again. Center control point to activate one of 2 bosses. The first to kill the other team's boss wins. Yeah. So it's again, this is something different. This is interesting. And it's there's PvP, but there's also a PvE objective, which is to kill the enemy's boss. So, it's cool. This is not the most compelling battleground or brawl, but it's also not the worst. So, if you've always wanted to check out a brawl, this is a decent week to do it. And you get into the Tiger's Peak Arena, which is a really interesting location because it's not a typical PvP battleground location. So yeah. And then you can do the quest Something Different, which requires you to win a PvP brawl, and then you will be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. So if you're farming Marks of Honor, this is the week to do it, because then you can go do the Battleground bonus event, get your 4 Battlegrounds done, and get 5 Marks of Honor, plus you'll get Marks of Honor from doing the Something Different quest. So yeah, if you're farming some old transmog, you need some Marks of Honor, this is the week to do it. So I guess that's really, this is the transmog week. Yeah, for people who don't normally PvP. For people who do PvP, they're not doing this because they're doing arenas and they're doing rated battlegrounds. And nobody really even does rated battlegrounds, honestly. So, all right. The Hearthstone 10th anniversary event has been extended to March 22nd. The boss spawn rate, so that what happened initially is the boss spawned in one of 3 locations every hour on the hour. Then they changed it to make the boss spawn in every location every hour on the hour. Now it spawns every half hour on every 30 minutes. On the half hour or whatever, but yeah, and they're extending it out because they want people to try and get these drops. I hate holiday drop, the holiday drop extravaganza where you're trying constantly to, oh man, I just need one more drop, and I hate it. I really hate it. I got my Firehire Steve, which is cool. One of my accounts, I got the Compass Rose, which was cool, and I got Sarge, which was cool. I don't really care about anything else. I guess the Hearthstone would be cool. The Stone of the Hearth. But yeah, I'm just not super into the holiday, get the drop off the boss type gameplay. It's not great. So I really wish they wouldn't do it, but they do, and this is where we are. So that's that. So if you're still trying to get some Hearthstone stuff and you're worried about running out of time, you have a few more days to get your Hearthstone items. The Trial of Style is this week and will run from March 20th through the 26th. If you haven't done the Trial of Style before, it's pretty fun. But it's you get into a group with 6 people total, and you compete on who has the best transmog. There's the theme, and you can match the theme, or you can just put on your coolest transmog, and you vote between 2 different participants until one gets the most votes, and then they're the winner. And the top 3 winners get prize tokens that they can spend on transmog. So I don't think there's anything new this time around as far as transmog goes. So it's kind of it's fine. But if you haven't done it before, definitely check it out. Like I said, it'll be here through the 26th. The biggest thing for me on the Trial of Style is the free transmog. So I love having the transmog mount that you try out a transmog, you put it on, you start walking around, you go, I don't like that. So you got to switch it. Free transmog for the week that the Trial of Style is here. So you try something out and see if you like it. run a dungeon with a new transmog, and if not, you can switch it off to something else. That's fine. Yeah, trial style really cool. I'm hoping that we'll get something new the next time this rolls around in 6 months, because we should be in the War Within at that point. So hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll get something new for the trial of style. Speaking of something new, there's a lot of things that I wanted to review here, and in the interest of keeping the podcast around the hour mark, I'm going to discuss a few items for the War Within as well as the Season 4, but I'm not going to get into too much detail on any of those items. So anyway, let's get into something new.
Let's talk about something new.
So Blizzard released 12 new hero talents for the War Within. So I think that brings us up to a total of 16 plus 12 is 28. So we still have a few more to go. I think we've got 11 more to go, but yeah, we got a bunch of information on some of these hero talents. I did do separate videos for each of these and uploaded them to the YouTube channel, but we'll just kind of hit the high points here on the keystones and the capstones. All right. First up is Rider of the Apocalypse Death Knight. As Rider of the Apocalypse, you are a champion of the Four Horsemen. Calling upon their aid to assist you in battle, you have a proficiency in mounted combat, and your link with the Four Horsemen brings conquest, war, famine, and death to all that oppose you. So the keystone ability is Rider's Champion. Spending runes has a chance to call forth the aid of a horseman for 10 seconds. Now, you can call one of the Four Horsemen, but it doesn't specify how they are called. So is it just a random one? Because if you just get a random one, okay, I guess that's cool. But it gives you no determination. If you're cycling through them, then how does that work? Like, do you have to pick which one you're going to call? Like, what's your order? Most likely it's just going to be, all right, you're just going to get a random one because there's abilities that cause you to summon a second one or extend the duration of one. So, and then the capstone ability is Apocalypse Now. So Army of the Dead and Frostworm's Fury call upon all Four Horsemen to aid you for 20 seconds. So, yeah. And the horsemen themselves, they do different things. So like Mograine casts Death and Decay, Whitemane casts Undeath on the target, which deals Shadowfrost damage. It's just a dot. Trollbane casts Chains of Ice, and Nazgrim increases your strength. So, I mean, like if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick Nazgrim because I want more strength. But yeah, I guess it just depends on, it's probably going to be random. I don't love that, but it's okay. I don't really play Frost and Unholy. My Death Knight is Blood, even though I'm terrible at tanking. So, all right. Next up is Deathbringer Death Knight. This is for Blood and Frost. Deathbringers are Deathbringers are the emissaries of death, empowered by the Shadowlands. Their physical strikes and abilities aim for their enemies' souls and vanquish them without mercy. So the keystone ability is Reaper's Mark. So it costs 2 runes and it's a 1-minute cooldown, which you can reduce it later with talents. Or you will reduce later with talents. But the key here is viciously strike into the soul of your enemy, dealing Shadowfrost damage and applying Reaper's Mark. So you're going to put this debuff on the target. Each time you deal Shadowfrost or Shadow or Frost damage, it adds a stack of Reaper's Mark. After 12 seconds or 40 stacks, the mark explodes, dealing damage per stack. So your goal is to get up to 40 before the 12 seconds is up, so that it's going up faster. Reaper's Mark travels to an unmarked enemy nearby if the target dies or explodes below 35% health when there are no enemies to travel to. And the explosion cannot occur again on a target for 3 minutes. See, this is really interesting because so it's putting this mark on the target, but it doesn't really do anything beyond the one explosion. So I'm not sure if it's the debuff and then that affects the other abilities that go onto it. The capstone is Exterminate. After Reaper's Mark explodes, your next Marrow-Rend or Obliterate. Cost no runes and summon 2 scythes to strike your enemies. The first scythe strikes your target for physical damage and has 15% chance to apply Reaper's Mark. And the second scythe strikes all enemies around your target for Shadowfrost damage. So this is kind of a cool Grim Reaper motif. I get it. It sounds really cool, but the text details don't sound cool. It actually sounds kind of clunky for this one. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully we're getting the War Within alpha soon, so we'll be able to get on and, well, somebody will be able to get on and play with this, and Wowhead will data mine the shit out of it. So, all right, next up is Aldrachi, or Aldraki. Reaver, Demon Hunter. This is for the Havoc and Vengeance specializations. Surprise. And I found that weird that they have these. Everybody has to pick. Oh, well, I only get these 2 for my spec. And for Demon Hunters, it's just like, yeah, here's our 2, because we only have 2 specs. The Eldrachi Warriors were the ultimate glaive masters and wielded their blades with deadly grace. Each kill fueled their weapon, imbuing them with greater power. They were so indomitable that Sargeras eventually bathed their world in Fellfire himself, but their spirit and teachings live on. So the keystone ability here is Art of the Glaive. Consuming 3 or 20, depending on if you're Havoc or Vengeance, soul fragments allows you to cast Reaver's Glaive. Reaver's Glaive, it replaces your Glaive Throw, and it says Throw a Glaive enhanced with the essence of Consume Souls at your target, dealing physical damage and ricocheting to 2 additional targets for additional damage. Okay. Begins a well-practiced pattern of glaive work, enhancing your next Chaos Strike and Blade Dance for Havoc, and Fracture, Shear, and Soul Cleave for Vengeance. So I guess what this means is that if you do them in the correct order, it's gonna enhance each of these abilities. So it says Chaos Strike for Havoc and Fracture and Shear for Vengeance applies Reaver's Mark, which causes the target to take 15% increased damage for 15 seconds. Which Reaver's Mark is different than Reaper's Mark. So, I mean, it's just... Okay. And then Blade Dance for Havoc and Soul Cleave for Vengeance deal 3 additional glaive slashes to nearby targets for additional damage. So I guess if you do them in the right order, you're going to build, and then you're going to boom. I mean, that's cool. The capstone is Thrill of the Fight. After consuming both empowerments, gain Thrill of the Fight, increasing your attack speed by 15% for 5 seconds, and causing your next ability to deal 30% increased damage and healing. Okay. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of just buffing the buffing yourself and buffing your Throw Glaive abilities in this talent tree. If that's your playstyle, then cool, this is for you. If you don't like the current Throw Glaive meta, maybe this one isn't for you. Maybe you wait for the other hero talent tree. So, okay, next up is Druid of the Claw for Feral and Guardian. Druids of the Claw are masters of their mighty animal forms. When they transform into cats or bears, they become ferocious physical combatants and protectors of the wild. Okay, so the keystone here is Massive Attack. Your attacks have a chance to make your next ferocious bite or maul become a massive attack. Massive Attack, it does damage to your targets and hits all targets in a cone in front of you. And I mean, that's pretty much it. For cats, it does a little bit more. So it says consuming up to 25 additional energy to increase that damage by up to 100%. Hits all other enemies in front of you for reduced damage per combo point spent. So basically, it's your big your big attack move, and you have a chance to proc it with your auto attacks, which is cool. So it'll just happen periodically, and so you'll probably need like a week or something to let you know, hey, you can massive attack now. Okay, and then the capstone is Claw Rampage during Berserk, Shred, Swipe, Maul, Mankle, Thrash. Have a 25% chance to make your next Ferocious Bite or Maul become a massive attack. So yeah, so this is going to be something that just happens as you, so you're going to do your normal routine, and then occasionally these abilities, Ferocious Bite or Maul, will become a massive attack, and then you'll just hit harder, and it'll come. So you can't, there's no determinism here. You're just kind of open to, so I think this is a good tree for, hitting for a lot of damage, but if you need a very specific tool set, this is probably not going to be the best one. You might want to go with Wild Stalker or Elin's Chosen, depending on if you're Feral or Guardian. So, all right, next one is Flame Shaper Evoker, Devastation and Preservation. Flame Shaper specialize in red Dragonflight spells related to life energy, flame, and breath magic. They have the ability to engulf enemies or allies in Dragonflame, causing Fire Breath or Dream Breath to detonate, dealing massive damage or healing. Okay, so Engulf is the keystone. It's a 20-second cooldown. Engulf your target in Dragonflame, damage or healing them. Each of your periodic effects on the target effectiveness is increased by 50%. Active ability, 20%, 20-second cooldown. So basically, this is just an extra ability that you can use, and it does more based on how many hots or dots you have on your target. And then Consume Flame is the capstone. So Engulf consumes 8 seconds of Fire Breath or Dream Breath and from the target, detonating it and damaging or healing all nearby targets equal to 300% of the amount consumed, reduced beyond 5 targets. So this is kind of like Swift Mend, but AoE Swift Mends. I think this one's pretty cool. And I really like the red Dragonflight Evoker playstyle. But it has been kind of lackluster previously. So this is kind of cool. And thematically, I think this will be really fun. So, yeah, we'll see. I do have my Evoker. He's sitting there waiting just in case I decide to play him. But for now, he's on the bench. Okay, next up is Pack Leader Hunter. This is for Beast Mastery and Survival. Pack leaders are hunters that use the instincts, knowledge, and respect they've gained over the years as they formed a deep bond and trust with the animals they adventure with. They bring a new style of ferocity and coordination to their combat, teaching their pet to strike their prey with simultaneous attacks. That's a lot of words. Okay, so the keystone is Vicious Hunt. Kill command prepares you to viciously attack in coordination with your pet, dealing additional physical damage with your next kill command. So kill command does more damage with your next kill command. And then the capstone is Pack Assault. Vicious Hunt and Pack Coordination now stack and apply twice and are always active during Call of the Wild or Coordinated Assault. Pack Coordination is one of the other talents that's a little higher up in the tree. It is attacking with Vicious Hunt, instructs your pet to strike with their basic attack alongside your next Barb Shot or Raptor Strike or Mongoose Bite. So this is a lot of you just do what you normally do. It's just going to happen better. So yeah, I mean, and this is fine. But it's very pet focused. If you like pet combat, this is probably the hunter tree for you. If you're not super pet oriented, yeah, okay, maybe Dark Ranger or Sentinel will be better for you. But as it currently stands, this is the air quote pet focused hero talent tree. So pretty cool. Still won't bring my hunter out of retirement for this one. She will level to 80 and then sit on the bench. Okay, Spellslinger Mage. This is for Arcane and Frost. Spellslinger Mages are prodigies of spellcasting that have learned to splinter their sorceries, creating powerful and volatile new effects. Spellslingers can conjure and manipulate these splinters with prowess, allowing them to devastate the battlefield with rapid barrages of razor-sharp crystals. Keystone is Splintering Sorcery. When you consume Nether Precision or Winter's Chill, conjure a splinter that fires at your target. Splinter is conjure raw magic into a sharp projectile that deals damage. Splinters embed themselves into their target, dealing additional damage over 16 seconds. This effect stacks. Now, it's kind of like, you've got your icicles that you're shooting at the target, but they're embedding into the target. And then what happens is your capstone, Plunderstorm, whenever you have 8 or more active embedded splinters, you automatically cast a Splinterstorm at your target. And Splinterstorm says, recall all embedded splinters to you, dealing their remaining periodic damage instantly. Ouch. After a brief delay, unleash a devastating barrage of splinters, dealing damage to your target for each splinter in the Splinterstorm. Splinterstorm grants you clear casting or applies Winter's Chill to its target. So, yeah. So it says you put these things in the target and they start doing damage, and then when you build up enough of them, they create a storm and they do a bunch more damage. So again, I think this is you just do what you're normally doing, because it says when you consume Nether Precision or Winter's Chill, then you conjure a splinter. So yeah, you just do what you're normally doing, and there's different abilities that give you different talents in here that give you more splinters. But yeah, this is just do what you're normally doing, and you'll do it better. Okay, Shadowpan Monk, Brewmaster and Windwalker. As a Shadowpan, learn from your forebears, and stand proud against your foes in defense of your friends and family. Bide your time and charge up your power before unleashing an overwhelming flurry of blows to overwhelm your opponents. Okay. It's 2 overwhelms there. I didn't like that. Overwhelming Flurry, which is your keystone, dealing damage equal to your maximum health, generates a flurry charge. For each 400 energy you spend, unleash all flurry as flurry strikes, dealing physical damage per charge. Because you're building up these charges, and then you automatically unleash them every time you get 400 energy spent. The capstone is Wisdom of the Wall. Every 10 flurry strikes become infused with Wisdom of the Wall for 20 seconds. Wisdom of the Wall grants you the following effects. Your critical strikes deal additional 30% damage. Your mastery's effect is increased by 25%. Versatility now increases your dodge and critical strike chance by 25% of its effect. And flurry strikes now deal additional shadow damage to all uncontrolled enemies within 6 yards. Again, this is another do what you're doing, but it'll make more things happen when you're doing them. So, I mean, that's cool, but not super compelling. I don't know. And I don't play either of these specs, so, what do I know? Okay, Conduit of the Celestials, Monk, Mistweaver, and Windwalker. So, Conduit of the Celestials have devoted themselves to the teaching of the 4 August Celestials so wholeheartedly that they can channel their power outwardly and call upon their assistance regularly in combat. They can become pure conduits of the August Celestials' power during brief moments, preventing some other actions, but empowering them heavily. Okay, so this is a channel ability. The keystone is Celestial Conduit. It's a channeled ability on a 1.5 minute cooldown. The August Celestials empower you, causing you to radiate nature damage onto enemies and healing onto up to 5 injured targets within 20 yards over 4 seconds, split evenly among them. Okay, so it's a channeled heal. Healing and damage increased by 6% of per enemy struck, up to 30%. Okay, so it's channeled damage or heal. You may move while channeling, but casting other healing or damaging spells cancels the effect. Developer's note: Celestial's Conduit channel will not break when using defensive, utility, or movement spells. So I'm hoping that means like your interrupt and things like that. So yeah, I mean that's cool. This is definitely different because it changes your playstyle. You have to use this 1.5 minute cooldown. The capstone is Unity Within. Celestial Conduit can be recast once during its duration to call upon all of the August Celestials to assist you at 200% effectiveness. Unity Within is automatically cast when Celestial Conduit ends, if not used before its expiration. So yeah, this is a big cooldown, and it's going to really change the playstyle for the Mistweaver and Windwalker monks. So I'm really curious to see how this playstyle kind of lines up, because it doesn't sound like, I'm not like super excited about it, but it's also, I'm curious, like, how exactly does that work? So we'll see. Farseer Shaman. This one has been pretty divisive in the community. A lot of people don't like it. This is for elemental and restoration. Harness your spiritual magic, improving your spell casting capabilities and empowering you to call upon ancestors to aid you and your allies in combat. So it's like Mulan. Call of the Ancestors is the keystone. Primordial Wave or Unleash Life calls an ancestor to your side for 6 seconds. Whenever you cast a healing or damaging spell, the ancestor will cast a similar spell. So it's like a constant dancing rune weapon. The capstone is Ancestral Swiftness. Now, this is one that I have an issue with. So this is a 45-second cooldown. Your next healing or damaging spell within 10 seconds is instant and deals 10% increased damage and healing. If you know Nature Swiftness, it is replaced by Ancestral Swiftness and causes Ancestral Swiftness to call an ancestor to your side. So basically, you're losing Nature Swiftness by getting Ancestral Swiftness. It's a shorter cooldown, and you get an ancestor, but you don't get anything else. So it's just like you're doing what you're already doing, but you get an ancestor to help you for 6 seconds. It's like, that's not like super exciting. So hopefully this one will see a little bit more work. I know people have been really railing on it, so yeah. Hopefully this one's on the table for a review. Okay, next is Hellcaller Warlock, Affliction and Destruction. From Darkened Corners of Azeroth and to the Shattered Lands of Outland, satyrs have spread corruption and summoned hellfire in the name of their masters. Amongst their sects, Hellcallers are the most feared, weaving together the vilest of shadow magic and the entropic Fellfire. Following in the footsteps of epochal Hellcallers such as Xavius, Perotharn, and Zalan, you now wield their terrible corruptive magic and may even lose yourself to the same promises of power that consumed them. Sounds cheery. Okay, so your keystone is Wither, bestows a vile malediction upon the target, burning the sinew and muscle of its host. The description there. Deals Shadow Flame damage over 18 seconds and replaces corruption or immolate, depending on if you're affliction or destruction. Your capstone is Malevolence. Dark magic erupts from you and corrupts your soul for 20 seconds, causing enemies to suffer from your wither, to take Shadow Flame damage and increase its stat count by 3. Okay, so you're doing a lot more damage. While corrupted, your active withers are acute. Your haste is increased by 10%, and Malefic Rupture grants 1 additional stack of wither to targets affected by unstable affliction. Okay, so Wither does more damage if you have unstable affliction on there, but for destruction, it's the same thing except Chaos Bolt grants 1 additional stack of Wither. So it doesn't have to be afflicted by anything. So I don't know. This one's kind of weird. Again, this is a talent tree that could probably use a little bit of looking at. I think it sounds cool, but I don't really know. And honestly, I don't play a Warlock. My Warlock is level 60. He's sitting there and he's not getting any higher. So I don't know. I really like the Diabolist Warlock. That sounded cool. This one is kind of, okay. And finally, we have Slayer Warrior. Arms and Fury. A Slayer has one goal, the execution of their chosen target. And woe betide any who stand between the Slayer and their prey. Slayers are unrelenting in their pursuit of attacks, overwhelming their foes with a furious, unending onslaught of steel. When a Slayer has you in their sights, your days are numbered. Sounds threatening. Okay, so the keystone is Slayer's dominance. Your attacks have a high chance to overwhelm your target's defenses and trigger a Slayer's strike, dealing low damage and applying marked for execution, increasing the damage they take from your next execute by 10%, stacks 3 times. Alright. And then the capstone is Unrelenting Assault. When you execute a target that you've marked for execution, reduce the cooldown of Bladestorm by 5 seconds per stack of marked for execution, and apply stacks of Overwhelmed equal to the number of stacks of marked for execution. Overwhelmed comes from Overwhelming Blades, which is each strike of Bladestorm applies Overwhelmed to all enemies affected, increases damage taken by 1% for 10 seconds. Okay, so basically what this all boils down to is, so this is like an Execute and Bladestorm build. And Fury is going to get Bladestorm. So as developers note, Fury will have access to Bladestorm via specialization talents in the War Within. So yeah, this is an interesting one. I'm curious to see how this plays out. I don't love the Execute build currently, but when you combine it with Bladestorm, this might be a lot of fun. So we'll see. I'm definitely really keen to try this one out. Hopefully I can get access to the beta when it is available, because I'd really like to get on there on my Fury Warrior and try some of this stuff out. So okay, so that's the 12 hero talents that were released by Blizzard. If you are not sure about one of these talents, or if you're like, I don't know how this is going to play out, or I don't like this, or I love this, or whatever your feedback is, please make sure you submit your feedback to Blizzard. I'll put a link in the show notes to the article where you can go through and submit your feedback, but they're putting this out here for a reason. They want us to submit feedback. This is what happened with the Oracle Priest. They went, oh, you know what? You're right. This sucks. And they're changing it. So submit your feedback. Be positive, be constructive, but do submit your feedback and be honest and be clear. So tell them what you don't like, tell them what you think would work instead, but just be really positive with the whole thing. So, all right. The other little bit of news here, and when I say little bit, I'm using air quotes, the patch 10.2.6 patch notes had a lot of Season 4 info in there. And I'm not going to go through all of it right now, because I'll probably hit that next week, just because there's a lot of detail in there, and we've already gone through all these hero talents, and there's just a lot going on. But really what it boils down to is they're trying to clean things up to make it work really well with the new Mythic Plus setup. They want all of the set bonuses for the sets that were voted on and chosen for Season 4 to kind of be equal in terms of how well they're buffing the players. We are going to get some trinket changes from some of the trinkets from like Vault of the Incarnates and Aberrus to kind of match what's going on in Amir Drasil currently. It does look like we're going to get all 3 of these raids at once, and instead of Fated, they're called Awakened, which whatever. But yeah, so the Awakened raids looks like we're going to get all 4 of them, or all 3 of them, and so you'll be able to choose each week which one you want. If you want to just say, hey, we're just going to prog Amir Drasil, okay, you can do that. You say, hey, we're going to alternate between, maybe we'll do 3 weeks of Vault of the Incarnates and 3 weeks of Aberrus. However you want to do it with your group, it's cool. And it does look like we're going to get it to Nar, although we're not clear on exactly how that works yet. And we don't even know when the launch date for Season 3 is, so all this stuff could still change. But Blizzard are putting in some fixes to kind of just tidy things up a little bit to make Season 4 as successful as possible. On the Mythic Plus side, so they did nerf slightly Afflicted, so they increased the cast time of the Afflicted mobs from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. So you'll have a little bit longer to either heal or dispel the Afflicted mobs, which is great. As a healer, I can tell you that often falls on me. when I get into a group with a paladin and a shadow priest, and they're helping me with that, oh, it's like manna from heaven, baby. I love it. But when I'm in a group with a warrior, a rogue, and a hunter, and it's like, oh crap. So anyway, yes, it just gives you more time to kind of clean that up. And then the other thing is they did confirm that Dawn of the Infinite will be available for Mythic Zero mode, or the new Mythic Zero mode, which is about equivalent to a 10. So you'll still be able to go in there and get Champion Dawn of the Infinite loot, and then Hero Dawn of the Infinite loot potentially in your Great Vault, which is really cool, because that means you can hopefully get some of these really cool pieces that are in the Dawn of the Infinite. I mean, you won't get the Myth version. You can't get Myth for that dungeon, but you could potentially get a Hero version, which is pretty good. And looks like there is data mined an item that you can use to upgrade your Firoloth and your Nazaro legendary weapons. Not exactly sure how that's going to work or what that's going to entail, but it does look like Blizzard are trying to ensure that we have our legendaries for Season 4. So if you got your legendary in Season 2 or Season 3, then congratulations. I hate you, but congratulations. Yeah, so that's really the I just wanted to hit the highlights here, because I'm not trying to I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of stuff that really we've got weeks before it's even available. So like I said, the reason that I'm going over the hero talents is because I want people to look at them and give feedback to Blizzard. That to me is really important. But in this case, for the Season 4 changes, it's, you know, they might move these numbers up or down a little bit here or there. Really, it doesn't really matter. There are going to be some changes to, I believe it was Mistweaver Monk and Holy Priest, but we don't have exact details on what those changes are going to be. I think there's going to be some new talents and a little bit of a rework for Holy Priest. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So we're supposed to be getting some PTR testing here shortly. Now that the Plunderstorm is live, we'll get the Season 4 dungeons on the PTR, so we'll be able to have a lot more information. So hopefully next week's show we'll be able to get into a lot more detail on this stuff, and we'll know a lot more. So, all right, let's move on to the weekly rant.
It's time for the weekly rant.
So I don't have an actual weekly rant prepared this week because it was supposed to have a guest, and that fell through. But yeah, I have to say that after everything that Blizzard has kind of teased and all the waiting and all the speculation for patch 10.2.6, the fact is we got Fortnite in WoW, and that's this big special patch. Now, I like the idea behind it, in terms of, hey, it's a new game mode that you can get in there and you can play, and it's a WoW character, but you're not actually playing WoW because you're just playing this weird new game mode. And I do like it. And a lot of people speculated that we were going to get a new game mode, but I don't think anybody was saying, oh yeah, it's going to be Fortnite, Battle Royale type gameplay. And I think that in a lot of cases, Blizzard has tried to do things. I mean, obviously there's the old joke about Blizzard getting things done just in time to capitalize on the end of a fad, and then that's StarCraft 2 came right at the end of RTS games being really popular, and it kind of ushered in the new era of nobody cares about RTS games anymore. I mean, obviously there's still competitive StarCraft 2, but same thing with Heroes of the Storm, where it was like, yeah, MOBAs are kind of dying. And they're not dead. People still play League of Legends, people still play Dota, but it doesn't have that same enthusiasm that it did when it was hyped and really popular. Same thing with Fortnite 5 years ago. Yeah, it was really popular. Now, not so much. Or 4 years ago, or whatever it was. I don't know. I lose track of time. But the point is, this is pretty typical Blizzard, where we're going to get a really polished version of something that already exists, that maybe is not as popular as it once was, and it'll be fun. From what I've tried, it seems like it's fun. This isn't really the gameplay that I'm looking for in World of Warcraft. And so I would only really do it for the transmog and the mounts. But, that's okay. Some people are really digging it. A lot of people are having a blast. People who play Classic are jumping over onto retail so they can do the new Plunderstorm. And that's exactly what Blizzard wanted. They wanted people to kind of jump on and try different things out. And hey, you've got Dragonflight installed. Why don't you create a character? You could buy a boost. Woo. So I don't know. I feel like this is a reach by Blizzard. I don't know. And you know what? I'm glad they're taking chances. I really am. I want them to take chances. I want them to get in there and do things that they go, hey, we have no idea if this is going to work, but here, why don't we try this? And as I said earlier, you can take this and modify it in different ways. So from that standpoint, I think it's great. But to kind of zero in on the Battle Royale idea, it's kind of... I don't know. I can't imagine that this is something that they cooked up just for this. I think what happened was they had this planned already. They had an idea of doing a battle royale and WoW, and they just didn't know how or when to implement it. And then when everything went to shit with COVID, and then all of the accusations against Blizzard or all of the lawsuits against Blizzard, because there's been a lot, and the company has gone through a lot. The Microsoft purchase, I mean, if you add up all the things that Blizzard has gone through in the last 4 years, it's a lot. But, if this is something that they've been working around and they finally found a good theme for it and then they figured out a good place to put it in, great. And if this is something that they just cooked up in the last 6 months, that's cool too. But still, it's a little odd that we're doing a Battle Royale in 2024 and that's our new big content. So, I don't know. I think it would have been really fun to have this be something that you could do more PvE focused. You could go, hey, I'm gonna go do some Plunderstorm, and I gotta fight against some mobs, and because I hate going into stuff like this, and it's like I've got to watch my back, and I gotta be careful because somebody's gonna jump me. And like I said, there's a reason I don't PvP. But regardless, a lot of people like it, and so that's cool. And like I said, this is a new game mode, and Blizzard can use this going forward, so that's cool too. But I was hoping for more, and I'm not really disappointed. I'm just, it's like, oh, okay, move on. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest because I saw the news this morning, and at first I was really excited. I'm like, oh, this sounds so cool, and then I realized, no, the entire thing is in a battle royale. This kind of stinks. So, all right. That's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. It's always an honor and a privilege to get on this microphone and talk to you all. So thank you for listening. And if you want to send me some feedback, if you want to talk to me about anything, send me an email. Have some topics you'd like to discuss on the show, or you have a question for me, please submit it to me. My email is denethar1@gmail.com, or you can reach me on X Twitter. I'm at Denethar. I do also occasionally stream on Twitch, and I'm at Denethar01, and also on YouTube at Denethar01. Check it out on there. And that's it. Remember to be good to each other out there. Remember, that's another player on the other side of that keyboard. So that's another. That pirate is played by a real person. So be nice to them, and you can kill them, and that's fine. But you don't have to be rude about it. All right. Take care out there, everybody, and I'll see you in Azeroth.